Get out my business. Money. Okay.
All right, please be seated. Members of the jury, I understand you have a verdict.
Happy 420, everybody.
Members of the jury, I will now read the verdicts as they will appear in the permanent records of the 4th Judicial District. State of Minnesota, County of Hennepin, District Court, 4th Judicial District. State of Minnesota Plaintiff versus Derek Michael Chauvin, Defendant. Verdict, Count 1. Court File Number 27, CR 20-12646. We, the jury, in the above entitled matter as to Count 1, unintentional second-degree murder while committing a felony, find the defendant guilty. This verdict agreed to this 20th day of April 2021 at 1:44 p.m. Signed, Juror Foreperson, Juror Number 19. Same caption, verdict Count 2. We, the jury, in the above entitled matter as to Count 2, third-degree murder, perpetrating an eminently dangerous act, find the defendant guilty. This verdict agreed to this 20th day of April 2021 at 1:45 p.m. Signed by Jury Foreperson, Juror Number 19. Same caption, verdict Count 3. We, the jury, in the above entitled matter as to Count 3, second-degree manslaughter, culpable negligence, creating an unreasonable risk, find the defendant guilty. This verdict agreed to this 20th day of April 2021 at 1:45 p.m. Jury Foreperson 019. Members of the jury, I'm now going to ask you individually if these are your true and correct verdicts. Please respond yes or no. Juror number 2, are these your true and correct verdicts?
Yes.
Juror number 9, are these your true and correct verdicts?
Yes.
Juror number 19, are these your true and correct verdicts?
Yes.
Juror number 27, are these your true and correct verdicts?
Yes.
Juror number 44, are these your true and correct verdicts?
Yes.
Juror number 52, are these your true and correct verdicts?
Yes.
Juror number 55, are these your true and correct verdicts?
Yes.
Juror number 79, are these your true and correct verdicts?
So there you have it.
Of the
And
4th
I want to
Judicial
go back
District.
real quick and just hear the charges, so we can actually talk about them and what that
Members of
means.
the jury, I will now read the verdicts as they will appear in the permanent records of the 4th Judicial District. State of Minnesota, County of Hennepin, District Court, 4th Judicial District. State of Minnesota Plaintiff versus Derek Michael Chauvin, Defendant. Verdict, Count 1. Court File Number 27, CR 20-12646. We, the jury, in the above entitled matter as to Count 1, unintentional second-degree murder while committing a felony, find the defendant guilty. This verdict agreed to this 20th day of April 2021 at 1:44 p.m. Signed, Juror Foreperson, Juror Number 19. Same caption, verdict Count 2. We, the jury, in the above entitled matter as to Count 2, third-degree murder, perpetrating an eminently dangerous act, find the defendant guilty. This verdict agreed to this 20th day of April 2021 at 1:45 p.m. Signed by Jury Foreperson, Juror Number 19. Same caption, verdict Count 3. We, the jury, in the above entitled matter as to Count 3, second-degree manslaughter, culpable negligence, creating an unreasonable risk, find the defendant guilty. This verdict agreed to this 20th day of April 2021 at 1:45 p.m. Jury Foreperson 019.
All right, so all together we have. So Eric, just what is your feelings right off top? What do you think about this?
Honestly, bro, I don't have words, bro. I still have a sick feeling in my stomach, bro. Like this, I don't have it. I have about as much feeling about the verdict as he did about George Floyd. How about that?
The part that's annoying for me is that I was actually concerned about this. With all my knowledge and everything I saw, like there's a saying in Minneapolis right now: just trust your eyes, because what we saw was murder. Any children, innocent bystanders, firefighters, off-duty EMTs, MMA fighters, mixed martial arts, children, like everyone saw this that day and said, you're killing him. Stop it. And he didn't want to listen. So when it comes down to it, ultimately, the fact that we were even concerned that this was an issue, but what reaffirms everything for me is that the juror took less than a day. I'm pretty sure if they had
took 10 hours. They took 10 hours.
10 hours. And I don't even think that, I think the 10 hours just more because they wanted to have a discussion about everything. But I almost want to wish that someone in the room just stood up and said, he's guilty, right? Like, this isn't a discussion. He's guilty.
You know that was the first thing somebody said in there.
Like he's
and even probably beyond that. I'm pretty sure because it's a jury of people. I mean, unfortunate for him, he did this in a blue state because he might have had a better shot if he was in Texas or Florida.
Botham Jean's assailant wasn't as fortunate, so she got her 10 years too. So it's like, but this is a this case is clearly sending a message out to the universe, which is, yo, police are going to start getting held accountable on a different level. Like the invention of body cameras and all of this stuff that's going into what we're seeing right now is part of this change, part of this growth. But let's like talk about some of the facts of the case, right? We had several medical examiners, physicians, and doctors come up and clearly flat out call this what it was, a homicide. And for there to be a homicide, there's a combined total of 40, 25, that's 65 plus 10. He's going to be in jail for 75 years.
He's not going to make it 75 years.
That's the hope. Like, save us some tax dollars, man, and, you know, help a brother out. But I want to see him. They're going to appeal this. This will stay in court. But the verdict, very rarely does a juror appear, like their jurors come out in something catastrophic. But he's going to be in jail for a very long time. He's going to be under the prison for a very long time. Like, the privilege that this guy got, and I really want to see if we can find like the image of him being handcuffed and just taken away, because you don't see that. That's a level of accountability you don't see in America, and it needs to be plastered on walls. It needs to be plastered in the halls of police departments, that in a moment you will be held accountable. There's no ifs, ands, buts about it. No one is above the law. No one is beyond reproach. If we find you, we will make sure that we hold you accountable. And I love that aspect of it. I love that notion that there's nowhere for these guys to run anymore.
That is actually pretty it's a relief, and I think this, along with what happened to the police officer involved in that Caron Nazario case, man, just the fact that they're just quickly dealing with things that are an issue, especially when it comes to policing in this country. Like, we're the most policed country in the entire world, and this is continuing to happen to everybody. This is a big problem, and I'm not gonna say I'm happy, but I am happy about the accountability.
What was the turning point for you in the trial? What made you like for me, the turning point for me was when the kid pointed out the bad guy in the room. When the kid said, I couldn't see, I don't know who Derek Chauvin is, and they told Derek to stand up and he took off his mask and said, oh no, there he is right there. Like, that fact that you have now been associated with a small child for the rest of your life as being a bad guy. That really clicked for me in my mind. It wasn't the video, because the video was the video, but it was just really the articulation of the children in the situation. You know, this young girl took a risk with her life, because we've seen police turn, hide, and attack, you know, protesters, right? We've seen them do that to people. We've seen them, like, you know, say, oh, you're interfering with the police investigation, and we're gonna make an example out of you, or some shit like that. We've seen that happen. Yeah. So, like, I was super impressed to see that. Was there anything that stuck out for you?
Honestly, man, I was a little nervous there for a while, especially when the case first started out. I was like, oh, hold on, this Maurice, whatever the dude name was, that, and then the amount of fentanyl and just some other shenanigans that were going on. And I really thought
No.
the prosecution was making a fumble at first. I was like, bro, like this is a layup, dude. Like don't
Yeah.
fumble this.
Yeah.
And now that I see the verdict come out like this, hey, somebody gotta be the sacrificial and somebody gotta be the first one to go. And that just happens to be Derek Chauvin.
No, absolutely. And I think especially for all that happens, right? Like when we look at everything and we get a chance to like truly examine how we got here, something kind of resonates with me in the sense of saying like, yo, why did it take why did we feel this need to have this unnecessary amount of pressure for you? Because the talking points, everyone had their hot take on this, and you're allowed to have your hot take on it. But there's a lot of angry racists right now. They're punching the fucking ceiling. They're like, God damn it! Like these Blue Lives Matter people. Like you got to realize that a big part of this is bringing people to justice in a process that we haven't seen justice. Like if you think about what's the word I'm thinking of? The people I'm thinking of from New York, the 5 children that were charged with all those heinous crimes, but there was no the Central Park 5.
Members of the jury, I'm now going
to like the Central Park 5, they didn't run into like they didn't get the freedom or the opportunity, I should say rather, to plead their case, and they were found guilty immediately, almost effectively. Take us back to Rodney King. But let's talk a little bit about some of the misinformation that the jurors try to put out there, the defense try to put out there. Say, for example, the whole having drugs in their system. What do you think about that excuse?
I mean, I get it. The issue I have with stuff like that, whether it's true or not, it's always a personal attack on his character, and I get it. That's a decent defense, but I mean, it never works because, well, it usually works, but in this instance, it couldn't work because again, you followed your procedure and got him into the car. You took him out. 3 grown men are on his back. His face is on the pavement. You are occluding his artery, and he's sucking in carbon monoxide. It doesn't matter what you say was in his system. It has zero to do with that. This is absolute negligence from a bunch of scary people doing a job that's meant for brave people. And this is why he's in the situation that he's in.
Do you think the other 3 officers take a plea agreement now?
They don't have a choice. If they were smart, if they hired a half-brain to plea, and you need to get it. Hopefully, you got a decent enough attorney that can help you plea it down.
Yeah.
But you don't want to be doing 45 plus 25 plus 10. Like that's not what you're trying to do.
Yeah.
I mean, if you get a dime, you consider yourself lucky.
Basically, for people to ask, a plea agreement is when you plead guilty and take a lesser charge. In this situation,
no, she's saying what's in the plea.
I'm assuming for Chauvin, I believe it was just to serve 10 years and that's it. Serve 10 years and then he'd be done. But
he said no.
Bill Barr didn't sign it. He needed a federal sign off on that, and Bill Barr didn't sign off on that.
Hey, good for Bill Barr. See, Bill Barr came through clutch, huh?
Bill Barr did one decent thing that doesn't excuse the travesties that is Bill Barr. But a thing that I would like to bring up now in this situation is Maxine Water actually came out with a statement, and the judge had a rebuttal for that. So I wanted to hear the judge with this. I didn't like this judge. He seemed a little bit too cranky for me, but maybe I'm just being biased. Let's hear what the judge had to say about Congressman Maxine Waters speaking about the justice system not doing its part in the past and what it would mean for this case.
I'm aware that Congressman Waters was talking specifically about this trial and about the unacceptability of anything less than a murder conviction, and talk about being confrontational, but you can submit the press articles about that. This goes back to what I've been saying from the beginning. I wish elected officials would stop talking about this case, especially in a manner that is disrespectful to the rule of law and to the judicial branch in our function. I think if they want to give their opinions, they should do so in a respectful and in a manner that is consistent with their oath to the Constitution.
You don't hear it?
To respect a co-equal branch of government.
I mean, people can
The
hear the
failure to
stream.
do so, I
don't know
think,
why
is
I can't
abhorrent,
hear the stream.
but I don't think it has prejudiced us with additional material that would prejudice this jury. They have been told not to watch the news. I trust they are following those instructions, and that there is not in any way a prejudice to the defendant beyond the articles that we're talking specifically about the facts of this case. A congresswoman's opinion really doesn't matter a whole lot. Anyway, so motion for mistrial is denied.
But yeah, they were shooting for the stars here. They were shooting for everything here to try and get this into a mistrial status. I didn't like that. Just let me know their defense was pretty weak to start with. Another thing that we want to kind of talk about here is just and I want to make this, I'll probably make this into a full-length story. It's just the history of trauma and how we are seeing a history of trauma being unraveled here. How George Floyd's mother had was babysitted by Fred Hampton's mom, and how like the Nazario was the nephew of Eric Gardner. Like more and more, the six paths of separations are closing in. We are becoming more enwrapped and engulfed in these situations, and we need to start taking, attention to how this trauma. Covering this story, this case, this trial has been super traumatic, but it's a sigh of release, and it's not even a great one, because right after this, we're going to be talking about Dante Wright in the near future. So it's super important for us to stay engaged with this and keep our high energy for this. We can help change the system, but fundamentally, the system has to take a look at itself. Like the mirror has been held back up at America, and it's just like in the amount of people that died, we had a 13-year-old a 13-year-old that we're going to be talking about here in a little bit. And then we even have that shooting out in Knoxville that we thought was a school shooting. Turns out, no, it's just police killing another unarmed black person. So we'll talk about those stories. But just, Eric, what do you think about like what it means for us now moving forward?
I'm not going to hold my breath. And that's just, and maybe that just seems pessimistic, but again, I do know where I'm at. I'm completely self-aware, but also maybe more politicians, maybe the people that we elect will actually make sure that people who do wrong are held accountable, and it can't just be at the expense of us, the people. So I'm gonna wait and see what happens. I like to see what happens with these other officers. I would like to see what happens to some officers in the other stories that you mentioned, because it's one of those only time will tell kind of things.
No, definitely. I think you're absolutely right about that. Before we bounce off this story, you guys have any questions about this? Any comments, concerns from this chat? I just don't see once again, after watching this and getting the verdict, something in my mind just kind of clicked and said, of course he's guilty. Like, why was this ever a concern to us? But we've seen far worse happen and them get away with it. So we're happy to see this resolve. But more importantly, thank you guys for joining us for this segment. We really appreciate you guys reaching out and joining us for this. Eric's missing on this one, so we'll go back to this one. But Eric, where can they find us?
They can find us right here on YouTube, man. This is where we live, man. So come and swim down with us in the comment section, man. Make sure that you hit that like button on your way in or out. Make sure you subscribe, hit the notification bell, set it to all. Hey, don't y'all forget, go drop some in the bucket. We got the Endurance 24 Challenge. That is what we're supporting right now. We got 24 miles in 24 hours, 2 teachers, Altenberg and Russo, who will be doing this challenge, raising money to send some kids to college. So go ahead, put some in the collection plate. We're going to pass it around. Make sure y'all fill that bucket up.
Nah, definitely. Let us know in the comment section how you feel. And please send this segment once it's cut up. Send this to one of your bootlicker friends. Send this to one of your Blue Lives Matters individual, because they are punching the air right now. They are upset right now, and they rightfully so, because the white white supremacy that holds up our justice system is being stripped away from it. And just in accordance of what we're seeing and what we're going to be doing in the near future here, it's super important for us to stay engaged. But I appreciate you guys. Peace.
Seems like every night, don't care who's wrong or right. I hope the end decide, slow it down and we can catch the vibe. But it's so hard to find through the daily grind, been working overtime. And I'm sleep deprived, shorty on my line and we fuss and fight. Seems like every night, don't care who's wrong or right. I hope the end decide, slow it down and we can catch the vibes.